How to stand out in crowded markets. First of all, I would like to say that it's not a crowded market. It's a seemingly crowded market. Let me just explain. We say it's crowded because we are using the wrong filters. But once you start using the right filters, you're going to come to realize that there is absolutely no way that your message can be lost in a noisy market. It's absolutely impossible. Once you know how to position yourself properly, you cannot be mistaken for anybody else. Simply impossible. Anyways, let's get back to today's message. First of all, let's identify the fact that there are many people out there that are pregnant, but they don't know when they're going to give birth to the child they're carrying. So therefore, they are stuck in between two worlds. The world where they used to be as empty in the belly, and a world where they're supposed to be with an actual child or actual children they can actually present to the world. They can't exactly go back to a place where they used to be carrying an empty belly because the belly is obviously full. They can't exactly go to the playground with other parents with children because their child is still unborn. So they are now stuck in between two worlds. So as a result, they become like this open belt that chasing itself because it's trying to simply reach a particular point where things are going to be completed, and it becomes an open-ended chase that never actually comes to completion. That's the first thing that you have to consider. So when you look around you, you're going to see that many people around you have arrived at this particular place where they know that yes, I'm carrying purpose, I'm carrying potential, but I'm trying hard to actualize. And the more I try, the more this seems to be not happening. So I keep on chasing this thing, and this thing keeps driving me completely nuts. And that's the reality of many people out there. Chances are, if you're watching this, that's also your secret reality. A big potential in your belly, a big purpose in your belly. But this says that you are never coming to a place where you are able to self-actualize. In 1865, in Germany, there was a gentleman by the name of Frederick August Kekulé, who came up with a brilliant formula for this thing called benzene. And this formula simply presented something that looked like a snake that was biting its own tail, because somehow things had come to a place where yes, there was a sense now of completion, because whatever tail that the snake was actually chasing, it had finally arrived at a place where it was able to catch the tail. That was in 1865. But for many people, this benzene formula of presenting a snake biting its own tail is basically a reality that doesn't seem to be quite achievable. If you understand, for example, the psychology behind TV shows, you're going to come to realize that all the people writing the script are brilliant marketers. They understand how the market think. They understand what drives the market, and more specifically in this attention economy, they understand how exactly to speak to your brain to get your brain's attention and to get your undivided attention. They will say we're going to present a series of different shows, different episodes, but they know that if the show is actually broken in different episodes, then every episode is actually coming to a place where the snake seems to have reached the end of the tail and reached a sense of completion. Your brain will simply switch out because say, yes, I was watching this show, I watched the first episode and I reached a place of completion. So what's the point of actually tuning in for the second show? But what they will do is they will purposely bring the episode to a climax where, for example, you know that the main character has arrived home from work, and precisely as he gets there, Oh, let's switch the role. The main character, the wife, arrives home from work, and as she reaches home from work, at a precise moment in the house, the husband is there with somebody else, and there is no way out as far as the particular house is concerned. The only way out is through the front door, and we know that the wife is about to step through the front door, and now that's where they choose to end the show. And now the climax has been reached, and the sense of incompleteness is actually now lodged in your brain. You say, oh my goodness, so what's going to happen when Susie walks through the door and see her husband Johnny with another woman in the house? What's going to happen? My goodness, I have to tune in for the next episode. But if you are part of the generation where everything seems to be readily available, chances are you're going to keep on watching all the episodes until you have actually watched all the possible scenarios as far as the show is concerned, and you keep going back, because at the end of each episode they will simply left something open to give you a sense of life completion for you to go back and watch the next show, so on and so forth, until eventually you finish the whole season. Let me just give you my personal story. I became very intrigued. I don't want to say I was very in love. I became very intrigued by a show called The King of Tulsa with Sylvester Stallone. So I started looking for that particular TV show. Eventually, I was able to lay my hands on the first season of that particular TV show. And as I started watching that, and guess what? It was so interesting that I watched the whole thing in one afternoon. But then I reached the end of the first season, and I was also upset because the writer brilliantly brought us to a climax and left us hanging. A climax was basically where Sylvester Stallone is now doing well in Tulsa, and all of a sudden, just when he was about to celebrate the next level, the next milestone as far as being now the king of Tulsa is concerned, all of a sudden his mistress, who happened to be working for the FBI, simply sells him out, and they come arrest him, and that's the end of season 1. And I say, but where is season 2? And season 2, you have to wait. I say, unacceptable. But guess what? That's how it works. They have to get you hooked so they can keep coming back for more until you find a sense of satisfaction because you've watched all the episodes of every single season out there. And that's just how life works. Why am I telling you this? Because at the end of the day, for all the pregnant men and pregnant women out there that have come to a place where they know that they are carrying something, a purpose, they're carrying something special in their belly, but they have not really reached a place of completion because they have not given birth yet to what they're carrying. And they can go back to where they used to be because they are no longer empty. The belly is actually full. So they are now stuck in between two worlds. What happened is, because they keep searching for a place of completion, and this is eluding them, eventually what happened is they start living vicariously. They say, if I am not in a position where I can feel complete as far as my life is concerned, how about I just start studying people out there? We have reached the top of the mountain, and we have actualized. We're living in the purpose. How about I start watching TV on a daily basis just to watch basketball program, basketball shows, basketball games, just to watch baseball games, just to watch hockey games, just to study all the teams out there and out there doing so well, because through them I'm having a sense of completion. Because as I study these people and again someone, I simply say to myself, at least they're actualizing. If it's not sport, it becomes then entertainment, the movie industry. If it's not the movie industry, then it becomes then the music industry. You start living through your favorite star because you say to yourself, at least she is actualizing, at least is actualizing. So whatever ups they're going through and down they're going through, I'm going to be relating to that, because through them I have a sense that yes, I'm living also a life where I can imagine myself at the top of the world. But that's not your world. That is somebody else's world. Because you know that yes, I have a potential. I could be a Superman or Superwoman out there. But because I never come to a place where I can simply switch from being a regular guy or regular girl to becoming that superwoman or superman. So let me just live my life looking at other people who are actualizing, because at least I can look at other superheroes and feel like a sense of completion. And that's where most of us are. Yeah, let me now tell you the psychology behind all this. In the early 1930s, in Russia, a psychologist by the name of Bluma Zerganik went to a local coffee shop because he just wanted to spend some time in between assignment to have something to eat and just look at how people were actually socializing. And as a psychologist, because he was so used to observing and studying people, she noticed something peculiar. She noticed that the waiters and the waitresses, they will come attend to people, and as they come to attend to people, they will ask them questions. So what would you like to order? They will get the order, memorize the order, run back to the kitchen, get whatever the people are asking for, and bring it to the table. And as soon as they bring whatever the client had ordered, there was a sense of relief. Because what? I was looking to complete a task. I went to this client. This customer simply said to me, I want to order coffee. So I ran back to the kitchen. I ordered the coffee exactly as the customer asked me. I bring it to them. And as soon as this is done, there was a sense of relief. And she said to herself, could it be that this is also how the brain works? So the brain is looking for a sense of completion. The brain is looking for a sense of closing the loop. You're gonna give me something to do. I'm gonna do my very best to achieve it. And once it's achieved, the tension, the pressure that was actually attached to completing that particular task is now completely released. And she went on to study this in a more scientific manner. And this is basically how this sense of completeness or lack of completeness came to be articulated as the Zerganic effect of life. That most people are simply chasing something because they put something in front of them, and until that particular task is completed, they feel a sense of incompleteness. And that is completely brilliant. Because once you understand that, as a marketer, as a business person, or simply as someone who is trying to establish your brand and to become recognized as far as your market is concerned, then you're going to come to understand that most people have a problem. And when you identify precisely the problem, what you're going to do as a marketer or as a salesperson or as a business person, you're simply going to come up with what I would simply call a value proposition. You will say to all these people that you identify as your ideal clientele, you will simply say, I, Dimitri, I specialize in helping people like you between the ages of 25 and 27 of this particular ethnic background. So I'm very specific when it comes to my target niche. I'm very specific when it comes to my target audience. Number one. And you can be more specific. So that's what I'm saying. I say, I, Dimitri, I specialize in helping people between the age of 25 and 37 of this particular background, ethnic background. So, and I go on to simply say, yes, with this particular problem. So, not just I'm looking at a particular target audience, but I've also identified a particular problem they're actually dealing with. And I know the pain points. So I articulate in a way that it is unmistakable in the ears and the minds of those who are actually going through a particular problem. And in the end, I simply says, so that you can experience this particular ideal solution. So once the solution has been identified, me as a person pregnant with a particular problem, I'm looking to deliver, and I know that you have the solution I'm looking for. Guess what? The market all of a sudden becomes very small, because I know that when it comes to the sea of people out there presenting solutions, I know that only Dimitri has what I'm looking for. So the market stopped being saturated, because I know exactly that yes, you and I, we have a way of connecting. And I'm going to log in and simply make sure that I give you my undivided attention. And this is very key. In the early 1970s or mid-1970s, when Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs came up with the idea of putting together a company called Apple, eventually they had to sit down and think in terms of value proposition. And ultimately, Steve Jobs, being the brilliant marketer that he was, he simply says, yeah, Apple is not just about presenting this personal computer to people. It's about presenting something for people who want to think different. So different became now the operating word, the operative word that was meant to target all the specific people out there, the specific geeks that simply knew that the time for us to start using computer has come, but we're looking for a specific type of computers. We can't go to regular computer because that's just for regular people. We have to go to a computer that can speak to our own unique needs. And Steve Jobs, when he presented himself as the person selling different, they say, we can relate to Steve Jobs. And guess what? In the saturated market, Steve Jobs became now the go-to person. And all of a sudden, the noise were brought down to a place of complete silence because they know they could resonate with what Steve Jobs had to offer. And guess what? These people will buy this computer that look completely different, that will look very intimidating to the uninitiated person out there because it will look like a box that was meant for people with high IQ when it comes to the world of technology. And guess what? These geeks also enjoy that. And slowly but surely, Steve Jobs started creating this particular niche and group of people that were basically resonating with his message. And the more cultish this market became, the more people kept saying, my goodness, I can see that Steve Jobs had created something really unique. So I want to just be also seen as different by buying this computer that all these geeks are so raving about. Just like back in the days, I never used to play tennis. But at one point I realized that all the cool kids around me, they used to come back from the tennis lessons wearing this fancy thing that would simply say ST, which simply stood back in the days for Sergio Tacchini. I said to myself, Sergio Tacchini, I said to myself, maybe if I start also wearing all these wristbands, all these headbands that simply say ST, Sergio Tacchini, I will also be seen as a cool guy who also play tennis on his spare time. And guess what? Before you know it, a few friends of mine started doing the same thing because we all want to simply look different as part of the upper class or the elite that had access to money to go play tennis when we were not really focusing on our books. And that's how things work as far as marketing is concerned. Again, why is this particularly important? Recently, I believe, there was a movie released that I believe called Leaving the World Behind. In this particular movie, Julia Roberts and her husband goes to rent a very fancy looking property, Airbnb property for the weekend. And as they go there, things started happening, crazy things started happening. But as they're dealing with all this crazy thing, crazy pressure from outside, the daughter, Rosie, was stuck on a particular task that was incomplete. Because she says, I'm going to go on this retreat or weekend retreat with my family, but I just want to go spend my time watching this particular TV show. So in order for me to have access to the TV show, I need to have access to Wi-Fi. But somehow the Wi-Fi is not working anymore, internet is not working, there is no connection to anything. So she's now stuck basically on this loop, simply asking everyone when they will have access to the Wi-Fi again so she can go and finish the show. And at one point her brother simply asked her, but my goodness, nobody cares about this show. Why do you care so much about this show? And it is what she said. I think that was just brilliant. She said, because I can resonate with this show. I know that the value proposition of this show can actually resonate with me. I know that this show makes me feel happy. I'm looking for happy. And this show can deliver happy that I'm actually looking for. And I think that was just simply brilliant. So when you come to a place where you clearly articulate your value proposition, you're going to speak to a few people that are going to resonate with your message, and they're going to start looking for you to find you because they will just want to spend time with the solution that you have to offer so that they can achieve finally a sense of completeness as far as the open loop that we're actually dealing with. And when it comes to this particular thing of standing out in a seemingly crowded market, I simply want to end by saying the following thing. In order for you to stand out in the market, you have to understand that it's not a popularity contest. Steve Jobs, when he first started in 1976, he was not looking to be the most sought after brand out there when it comes to computers, personal computer for people. He was just looking to find a way to meet the unique needs of a very specific group of people. And once he was able to identify them and to start resonating with them, guess what? Slowly but surely, word started spreading, and people wanted to be part of this elite group of people that wanted to think and act differently. And this is just where you have to find yourself as well when it comes to articulating your unique value proposition. Because guess what? You may say to yourself, I am in the fitness business of actually helping people get fit and look their best. I will not say lose weight, but look their best. But here's what I'm going to say to you. A person at the foot of the mountain who's struggling with a weight issue when it comes to looking the best doesn't look at the problem the same way as someone at the top of the mountain who's experiencing weight issues and want to look the very best. Because at the foot of the mountain, there could be some issue of self-sabotage. There could be some many crazy complex issue that they're dealing with. At the top of the mountain, it could be even more complex. Because I'm at the top of the mountain. I am not trying to self-sabotage. I want to make things happen. But why is it I'm actually struggling with issues of weight? Number one. Number two, the issues of weight now speak to me and bother me, not in the same manner as a person who's basically ready to check out. Because at the top of the mountain, I want to continue. I want to build a legacy. So my mind is about 50, 100 years from now. So how can I make things happen with this weight issue that seems to be plaguing me and causing me to slow down? So when you're trying to now position yourself as the go-to person for weight issue, you have to now be more specific. Weight issue for which particular group of people? Because if you say weight issue in general, that's too broad. You have to be more specific so that your message is not lost as a generic message, but actually seen by the right people who will simply come to understand, yes, you understand the key, unique pain point they're actually dealing with as far as having weight issue at the top of the mountain. And that's completely brilliant. Once you do that, my friend, sky is going to become the limit. And you're going to come to see that, yes, the market is not saturated, but the market is looking for people precisely who are going to come up with some unique solution geared or tailored to the unique needs of people who are basically experiencing something, but through unique set of pain points. Now, how are you going to achieve that? Very simple. Number one, focus on pen and paper. Focus on doing some research. In your particular industry, just say to yourself, I'm going to be studying now the top 10 people who are doing very well as far as my field is concerned. What are they doing that actually causes them to stand out? That's number one. Out of the 10 people, you're going to have to bring the list to shrink it to only 3 key people that you can identify with when it comes to what they are offering, when it comes to the message, and also how they are positioning themselves when it comes to the unique value proposition, so you can actually study them and find a way to now customize your own message, so you can also bring a message that's going to resonate with a very specific group of people within the niche that you have identified as your niche. And once you do that, my friend, you simply have to go into the process of refinement. Refine until you feel that the message that you have now has been customized enough and clear enough that when you put it out there, the people are looking for you are simply going to start showing up because they know exactly that you have done your homework and you know exactly what they're looking for, and there'll be no need to oversell them when it comes to how to do business with you. And from that point, my friend, you can simply start refining and repeat. Refine, repeat, and from that point, my friend, all I can simply say is sky is going to become the limit. All right, I'm going to stop it right now. Before I go, just one quick reminder. Pay attention to the Zeigarnik effect as far as life is concerned. More specifically, as far as the life of your ideal customer is concerned. They have some open loops that they are trying to close, and that lack of completeness is simply causing them to go crazy. Walmart and all these big other retailers may think that they have the market corner. It is not true, because within this ocean of people buying things from them, there are a group of people, a unique group of people who are still looking for the ideal and more specific retailer that can speak to the unique needs. And they keep going back to one because right now they have not identified a unique retailer. But guess what? Once you identify yourself as a unique retailer, my friend, all I simply say that sky is going to become the limit. All right, much love everyone. The best is yet to come, but now for the best to be manifest in order for you to reach a place where you flip to your next level and you come to a place where you're now operating from a place of flow. Because you are unstoppable, guess what? In order for that to happen, you simply have to be intentional. And intentionality simply starts with one key thing. You are perfection made flesh. You are carrying something amazing, and there's absolutely no competition when it comes to what you have to offer. But now for you to stand out this market, in order for you to stand in this market that looks crowded and noisy, you simply have to start seeing yourself as a midwife, as someone who identifies with a specific group of people and can resonate with them. So once they can see you also as a person who uniquely understand the unique needs, the pain points, my friend, one after the other going to start gravitating towards you. Before you know, you're going to have a big crowd, and the crowd is simply going to attract more people because more people are simply looking at one key thing, which is simply called social proof. The more people run to you, the more they want to come because they say, wow, this seems to be a very unique elite group of people. The crowd is very tight, so I would like to be part of that. It may be 2,000 right now, it may be 1,000, maybe 5, maybe 10 people, but guess what? Slowly but surely they're going to come. All right, much love everyone. I'm out.